What if Luffy was trained by Rayleigh? From birth, think of Monkey D. Luffy, the future Pirate King, had been trained by none other than the Dark King Silvers Rayleigh from the very beginning. Picture Luffy mastering Haki as a child, unleashing Conqueror's Haki to knock out enemies before they even reached him, and learning to harness his rubber powers years before his original journey began. Under Rayleigh's guidance, he wouldn't just be a scrappy dreamer with a big smile, he'd be a disciplined, unstoppable force who could rival the legends of the seas. So, what kind of pirate would Luffy become with Rayleigh as his mentor from day one? The story kicks off with Silvers Rayleigh, the infamous Dark King, seeking a much-needed respite from his life as a shipcoder in the bustling Sabayoti archipelago. Picture this. He drifts off to sleep on a small fishing boat, only to wake up docked in a quaint village in the East Blue Fuchsia village. Rayleigh, a man of experience and calm demeanor, disembarks and finds himself amidst the daily rhythm of a small-town life. Little does he know, this unexpected detour will forever alter the course of his life and that of a young boy with an oversized grin and a dream as vast as the seas. Luffy, the mischievous grandson of Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp, has already gained a reputation in the village for his wild antics. Whether he's yelling at the top of his lungs about becoming the Pirate King or stealing food to share with the villagers, his boundless energy and fearless attitude are hard to ignore. On this particular day, Luffy's shouts catch Rayleigh's attention as the boy boldly declares, "I'll be the freest man on the seas." This seemingly innocent statement stops Rayleigh in his tracks. Those words echo deeply, reminding him of his old captain, Gol D. Roger, and his unyielding quest for freedom. Curiosity gets the better of Rayleigh, and he strikes up a conversation with the boy. What starts as small talk quickly becomes a profound realization. Luffy isn't just a loud kid with big dreams. His resolve, his unwavering belief in freedom, and his sheer presence all scream potential. It's as if the very will of D courses through his veins. Rayleigh is no stranger to fate. He recognizes that meeting Luffy is no coincidence. While Garp is off chasing pirates and indulging in his favorite snacks, Rayleigh sees an opportunity, a chance to mold this wild and ambitious child into something extraordinary. It's not an easy decision for someone who once vowed to retire from the pirate world. Yet, Rayleigh feels an unexplainable pull to take Luffy under his wing. He decides, almost on a whim, to offer the boy a deal. If you're serious about being the Pirate King, let me show you what it takes. Thus begins a bond that transcends generations, connecting the Pirate King of the past to the potential Pirate King of the future. Rayleigh doesn't just see Luffy as a student, he sees him as a legacy, a bright spark of hope in a world dominated by oppressive powers. It's a relationship born from chance, but one that will soon become a cornerstone of Luffy's incredible journey. Luffy's early training. From the moment Rayleigh takes Luffy under his care, the boy's life changes forever. Gone are the carefree days of swinging through trees and exploring Fuchsia Village at his leisure. In their place comes a rigorous regimen designed by one of the most dangerous and experienced pirates in history. Rayleigh, who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Gol D. Roger against the likes of Marines, warlords, and Yonko, doesn't believe in half measures. If Luffy is serious about becoming the Pirate King, then Rayleigh is determined to prepare him for every challenge the world might throw his way. At first, Luffy doesn't know what hit him. Rayleigh begins by building the boy's physical endurance, forcing him to run laps around deserted islands until his legs feel like jelly. Strength training follows, with Luffy hauling massive boulders and chopping down trees with his bare hands. Rayleigh's motto is simple: a strong body makes a strong will. But it's not just brute force that Rayleigh wants to cultivate. He's preparing Luffy for the mental and emotional toll of a life at sea. Lessons in survival, strategy, and discipline become daily occurrences, turning the young boy into a hardy and resourceful warrior. Perhaps the most significant part of Luffy's early training is his introduction to Haki, a power Rayleigh knows better than almost anyone. By the age of 6, Luffy has already begun to grasp the basics of observation Haki. Rayleigh blindfolds him and pelts him with pebbles, forcing the boy to sharpen his instincts and sense the attacks without seeing them. It's grueling work, but Luffy's natural determination and boundless energy help him push through. Every time he evades a pebble or senses a movement before it happens, Rayleigh can't help but feel a swell of pride. As Luffy grows stronger, Rayleigh introduces him to armament Haki. He teaches the boy how to coat his fists in invisible armor, making them capable of punching through steel and stone. At first, Luffy struggles to control this power, but Rayleigh's patient guidance helps him channel his energy effectively. By the time Luffy turns 10, he can spar with Rayleigh on nearly equal footing, a testament to both his natural talent and Rayleigh's rigorous training methods. Rayleigh doesn't just prepare Luffy for combat, he instills in him a deep respect for the world's dangers and teaches him to survive on his own. Whether it's hunting for food on a remote island or navigating a small boat through treacherous waters, Luffy learns skills that will later become second nature. His training isn't just about strength, it's about freedom. And as Luffy grows stronger, his dream of becoming the Pirate King seems less like a childish fantasy and more like an inevitability. The Devil Fruit Twist. While Rayleigh's training shapes Luffy into a disciplined and powerful fighter, there's one twist that neither of them sees coming: the Gum Gum Fruit. During one of Shanks' visits to check in on Rayleigh, the infamous red-haired pirate brings along a mysterious treasure, a devil fruit with swirling purple patterns that practically screams dangerous. It's meant to be sold or traded later, but the fruit's fate takes a dramatic turn when Luffy stumbles upon it. Being Luffy, his curiosity gets the better of him. One moment, he's inspecting the strange fruit, and the next, he's chomping down on it without a second thought. Shanks and Rayleigh find him moments later, clutching his throat and complaining about the horrible taste. When they realize what he's done, Shanks bursts out laughing, while Rayleigh groans in exasperation. "You do realize you can't swim now, right?" Rayleigh mutters, shaking his head. Luffy, of course, grins and says, "It's fine, I'll just never fall into the water." From that moment on, Luffy's training takes an unexpected turn. Rayleigh, while annoyed, sees the potential in Luffy's newfound powers. The boy can stretch his body like rubber, making him nearly immune to blunt force attacks and capable of incredible feats of agility. It's an unusual ability, but Rayleigh encourages Luffy to experiment with it. Under his guidance, Luffy quickly learns to harness the Gum Gum Fruit's power in creative ways, using his rubbery body to extend his reach, enhance his punches, and even deflect attacks. What's remarkable is how quickly Luffy develops advanced techniques. With Rayleigh's encouragement, he begins experimenting with speed and elasticity, leading to the early creation of moves like Gear Second and Gear Third. Imagine a 12-year-old Luffy, steam rising from his body as he zips around at blinding speeds, delivering devastating punches to rocks and trees. These techniques, which took years to develop in the original timeline, emerged much earlier thanks to Rayleigh's relentless training and Luffy's boundless determination. But the Gum Gum Fruit isn't just about flashy techniques, it also forces Luffy to confront his limitations. Rayleigh makes sure Luffy understands the gravity of losing his ability to swim, drilling into him the importance of staying alert and avoiding unnecessary risks. At the same time, he teaches Luffy how to work around his weaknesses, emphasizing teamwork and strategy. Rayleigh's goal is simple: to turn Luffy's curse into his greatest asset. By the time Luffy sets out on his own, he's not just a rubber man with a big dream, he's a force of nature, combining the unique powers of the Gum Gum Fruit with the discipline, haki, and survival skills instilled in him by the Dark King. Every punch he throws and every challenge he faces carries the weight of Rayleigh's training, making him a pirate like no other. The impact of early Conqueror's Haki. In this alternate timeline, Luffy awakens Conqueror's Haki at an unusually young age, a testament to his strong will and Rayleigh's guidance. Conqueror's Haki, the rare ability to exert one's willpower over others, is a trait only 1 in a million possesses, and even fewer can master. With Rayleigh pushing Luffy to tap into his innate potential, it wouldn't take long for the young boy to display his latent ability. Imagine a 6-year-old Luffy accidentally unleashing a wave of Conqueror's Haki during an argument with some rowdy pirates in Fusia Village. The pirates, moments before, were laughing at his bold declaration of becoming Pirate King, only to collapse unconscious when Luffy's frustration boiled over. The villagers would stand in stunned silence as the boy they knew as a mischievous troublemaker revealed this fearsome power. For Rayleigh, it would be both a moment of pride and exasperation. While Luffy's potential is undeniable, Rayleigh knows that such a display could easily draw the attention of dangerous enemies, including the Marines. The early mastery of Conqueror's Haki would profoundly shape Luffy's personality and leadership style. Even as a child, people would instinctively follow him, not just because he declared freedom, but because of the natural charisma and confidence that radiated from him. This isn't the same Luffy who struggles to convince Zoro to join his crew in the original timeline. Instead, his sheer presence commands respect and inspires loyalty. Rayleigh would teach Luffy to control his Haki, ensuring that it didn't activate accidentally, but he wouldn't stifle the boy's natural tendency to use it as a tool for justice and survival. As Luffy's understanding of Conqueror's Haki deepens, it becomes an integral part of his combat style. Whether it's intimidating opponents into submission or creating openings during battle, Luffy learns to wield this power with precision. By the time he sets off on his pirate journey, he's already a master of the ability, making him a formidable figure in the East Blue. When enemies face him, they don't just see a teenager with a straw hat, they feel the overwhelming force of his will, a force that promises to shake the world. This early awakening and mastery of Conqueror's Haki would set the stage for a very different kind of pirate king. Luffy doesn't just dream of freedom, he embodies it, and his Haki becomes a tangible representation of the indomitable spirit that drives him. As Luffy grows stronger under Rayleigh's tutelage, their adventures extend far beyond the quiet shores of Fuskia Village. Rayleigh, knowing that experience is the best teacher, decides to show Luffy the world, not just to hone his skills, but to give him a taste of the chaos, beauty, and danger that the Grand Line has to offer. These travels would transform Luffy into more than just a skilled fighter. They would shape him into a seasoned adventurer with a deep understanding of the pirate life. Picture this: Rayleigh and Luffy traveling on a small but sturdy ship, navigating through treacherous waters and strange islands. Along the way, Luffy would encounter powerful adversaries, strange creatures, and a variety of unique cultures. Each encounter would teach him something new, whether it's how to read the winds, handle unexpected ambushes, or negotiate with wary islanders. These lessons would prepare him for the unpredictable nature of life on the seas. During their travels, it's easy to imagine them running into familiar faces, including red-haired Shanks. This meeting, however, would look very different from the original timeline. Instead of a wide-eyed kid idolizing Shanks from a distance, Luffy boldly challenges him to a sparring match, eager to test his skills. Shanks, always up for a good laugh, initially brushes off the challenge. But when Luffy surprises him with an armament Haki-enhanced punch, Shanks can't help but take the boy seriously. The spar ends with Shanks grinning from ear to ear, realizing just how much potential Luffy has. It's here that Shanks might decide to hand over his iconic straw hat, entrusting Luffy with the symbol of their shared dream. These adventures wouldn't just be about combat. Rayleigh would take the time to teach Luffy about the pirate code, the history of the world, and the balance of power between the Marines, warlords, and Yonko. Luffy would learn about the dangers of the world government and the significance of the Will of D. By the time he's ready to set out on his own, Luffy would not only be a skilled fighter, but a knowledgeable and strategic pirate, capable of navigating both the physical and political storms of the Grand Line. Through these travels, Luffy wouldn't just gain strength, he'd gain perspective, forming the foundation for his journey to become the Pirate King. A different start to his pirate journey. By the time Luffy turns 17, he's not the same boy we see in the original timeline. Instead of a reckless, wide-eyed dreamer, he's a confident, disciplined young man shaped by years of training, experience, and wisdom under Rayleigh's guidance. When he sets out to sea, he's not just chasing a dream, he's ready to claim it. His boat may still be small, but Luffy himself is anything but. He's a powerhouse, equipped with Haki mastery, advanced combat techniques, and a deep understanding of the world he's about to conquer. The first encounters on his journey take on a completely different tone. When Luffy meets Zoro, for instance, it's not just his charisma that convinces the swordsman to join. During their confrontation with Captain Morgan, Luffy effortlessly demonstrates his armament Haki, deflecting Morgan's axe with a single coated fist. Zoro, always one to respect strength, immediately recognizes Luffy as a leader worth following. Their bond is forged not just in words, but in action, a partnership of equals built on mutual respect. The terror Luffy inspires in his enemies is even more pronounced. Take Buggy the Clown, for instance. In this timeline, Luffy doesn't just laugh off Buggy's antics, he uses Conqueror's Haki to knock out half of Buggy's crew before the fight even begins. Buggy, already rattled by Luffy's connection to Shanks, is left scrambling to keep his composure. Every encounter with Luffy feels heightened, with his advanced skills turning once dangerous situations into manageable skirmishes. Nami, too, is drawn to Luffy differently. While she's still skeptical of pirates, she can't help but notice that Luffy is unlike anyone she's ever met. His strength, confidence, and unwavering sense of justice set him apart from the greedy, bloodthirsty pirates she despises. When Luffy helps her confront Arlong, it's not just his brute force that wins the day. It's his ability to inspire hope in others. Luffy's advanced skills and leadership abilities don't just make his crew stronger, they accelerate their growth. With a captain who knows the ropes, each crewmate is pushed to unlock their full potential earlier. Together, they become a formidable force, ready to take on the Grand Line and the challenges it holds. Luffy's connection to Rayleigh doesn't stay under the radar for long. Garp, his fiercely loyal yet overbearing grandfather, is one of the first to catch wind of his grandson's new mentor. Garp's reaction is a mix of fury and frustration. Not only has Luffy embraced the pirate life, but he's also being trained by one of the most notorious figures in Marine history. The news spreads quickly through Marine ranks, with many officers viewing Luffy as a major threat long before he reaches the Grand Line. This early recognition translates into an immediate bounty on Luffy's head. While his original bounty of 30 million berries was considered impressive for the East Blue, this version of Luffy sees a much higher figure, perhaps 100 million berries or more, attached to his name right from the start. The Marines don't just see him as another pirate, they see him as a dangerous up-and-comer with the potential to rival even the Yonko. For Luffy, the bounty is less a burden and more a badge of honor. It just means they're scared of me, he'd laugh, his optimism undeterred. But the increased attention also means more frequent clashes with Marine officers. These encounters, however, only serve to solidify Luffy's reputation. Whether it's defeating a cocky Marine captain in the East Blue or holding his own against a vice admiral on the Grand Line, Luffy proves time and again that he's no ordinary pirate. Rayleigh's influence becomes especially apparent in these intense battles. Luffy's ability to predict enemy movements with observation Haki, combined with his devastating armament attacks and unorthodox fighting style, makes him a nightmare for even the most skilled Marine forces. His advanced techniques allow him to outmaneuver and overwhelm even the most seasoned opponents, leaving them frustrated and utterly humiliated. Yet, despite the chaos he causes, Luffy never loses sight of his ultimate goal. Each clash with the Marines is just another step on his journey to becoming the Pirate King. He doesn't let the weight of his bounty or the threat of capture dampen his spirit. Instead, he embraces the challenge, proving time and again that he's not just chasing a dream, he's fighting to change the world. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.